Hi guys, it's me Akanksha. Welcome to Come Code Conquer. Today we will be talking about numbers or numeric data types in Python. All the mathematical calculations and formulations are possible in Python. Python has classified numbers in three different types: integer, float, and complex numbers. We've already seen a few examples of numbers in our previous video data types where we saw how to define an integer, float, and complex number variable. If you haven't watched that video, check out the link in the description box below or click on the link displayed onto the top right corner of this video. In this video, we will be going through these topics: defining an integer, float, and complex number variable, arithmetic operators, comparison operators, increment or decrement a variable, built-in numeric methods, typecasting, math module, and finally we are going to answer how are integers and floats immutable in Python. We are going to define the number variable again in this video, sort of a recap. So let's start with integers. Integers are negative and positive numbers without a decimal point. So let's define an integer variable, say salary is equal to 75,000. 75,000 here is an integer. Let's check if Python has considered it as an integer. So to do this, we use type method. Just type print type in the bracket salary. Let's run it. It gives us integer. Another cool thing Python offers is representation of numbers by using underscores. When you have a number with a lot of zeros or a very long number, to make it more readable, we can use underscores in between. Let's say our salary is 75 lakhs, right? And it's difficult to count the number of zeros here. So let's put underscores in between. So salary variable now becomes this. This makes the number very clear and easy to read, right? Now if we check the type of this variable again, let's run it. It will still give us integer. Now you might wonder how long an integer can be in Python. Integers can be of any length in Python. It's possible to define an integer of any number of digits till your computer memory allows. Now let's move on to the next type, which is float. Float is a number value with a decimal point. So let's clear this. Let's say I have a variable fuel underscore quantity and its value is 5.12. Now if we check the type of this variable fuel quantity, let's say print type in the bracket fuel quantity and run it. It will give us float because it has a decimal value. Now to check the type of variable, we have used type method. This. There is another method called isInstance method, which is to check if a variable belongs to a particular type. So if we want to check if our variable, let's say the same variable fuel quantity is of float type, we can use isInstance method. To do this, we can just type print in the bracket isInstance fuel quantity, comma, float. IsInstance method accepts two arguments. The first being the value that we need to check, and the second is the type that we want to verify. So let's go ahead and run it. It will give us a Boolean value which is true. Now it gives us a Boolean value depending on the condition. So here our variable fuel quantity holds a float value and so it gives us true. Now if I go ahead and change the type here and say int, which is integer, and then run it, it will give us false. Why? Because 5.12 is float and it's not an integer. Cool, right? The next numeric data type is a complex number. We have already seen how to define a complex number in Python. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's say C is equal to 5 plus 9j. So here 5 is the real part of our number and the imaginary part in Python is represented using j, and that is 9j is the imaginary part of our number. So let's go ahead and print it. It will reflect the same value that we have defined. This is just to see if Python has stored a value correctly in our C variable. Again, to check the type of this variable, we type in the bracket C and then run it and we get complex. Now it's possible to extract the real part and imaginary part of the number. We just need to type C dot real for real value and C dot imag for imaginary part. So let's go ahead and print it. Let's print C dot real and print C dot imag. Now let's go ahead and run it and it will give us 5.0, which is the real part, and 9.0, which is the imaginary part. Now we need to remember that both the real and the imaginary part of the complex number are stored as float in Python. And so the output shows a decimal value even when we just typed 5 and 9. Right? Now this brings us to the next topic, arithmetic operators. Now what are numbers if we cannot manipulate them for getting calculations done, right? So the mathematical calculations are possible in Python using arithmetic operators. Operators are symbols which allow us to do the operations. So let's see the arithmetic operators one by one. So here is the list: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, and exponent. Now let's use all these in our code. So addition is using plus sign. Let's define two variables to add. Say a is equal to 7 and b is equal to 2. To add these two numbers, just type c is equal to a plus b. Now let's print c and check the output. We get 9, which is 7 plus 2. So subtraction is using minus sign. So just type a minus b and we get 5, which is 7 minus 2. For multiplication, we use asterisk or star symbol, which is this. So let's go ahead and print it. We get 14, which is 7 into 2. The next is division and it is represented using a forward slash. We get 3.5, which is 7 divided by 2. Now the next is modulus operator, which is represented using a percentage sign. Now let's take the same example. If we divide 7 by 2, it will give us 1 as our remainder. 2 3s are 6 and 1 remains, right? So C is equal to A modulus B will give us 1. This is really useful in finding if a number is an even number or not. You would then do this modulus operation on a number with 2, right? So if we do A modulus 2 and the remainder is 0, the number is even, otherwise it's odd. Here our remainder is 1. It means that the number is odd. So 7 is an odd number, right? The next operator is exponent or to the power of operation using two asterisks or stars. So we say C is equal to A star star B, and that is 7 raised to the power 2. And when we run it, it gives us 49, which is 7 into 7. It's also possible to merge different operations together in one statement. So let's say C is equal to A plus B into A. So For better understanding, let's type out the values here. 7 plus 2 because b is 2 and into 7. Now let's run it and we get 21. How? First, multiplication is operated, so 7 into 2 is 14 and then added by 7, so it becomes 21. Python also follows BODMAS rule of math, that is, the operations are performed using BODMAS rule, which says brackets of division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So brackets are given higher precedence over all the other operations. Then it's division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. So if you want to change the order of operation here in our statement, and if you want to give higher precedence to addition, we just put that expression in brackets. So our statement now becomes in the bracket a plus b into a. So even the values would become in the bracket 7 plus 2 into 7. Let's run it. And now we get 63. So first 7 plus 2 is performed, which is 9, and into 7 that gives us 63. 9 sevens are 63. So this brings us to the next topic, which is comparison operators. These operators are used to compare different values. It gives out Boolean value that is either true or false depending on the condition. So let's see the comparison operators one by one. Here is the list. There is equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. Now let's use all these in our code. If we want to check phi is equal to 6 in Python, we can do that by just typing out phi double equal to 6. As we all know that single equal to is done for assignment operation. That is, if any value is to be assigned to a variable, it is done using single equal to sign. To do a comparison, we need to use double equal to. Now let's go ahead and print it. It gives us false because 5 is not equal to 6. Now let's print 5 not equal to 6. This is how it is represented in Python. Exclamation equal to is not equal to. So go ahead and print it. We get true because 5 is not equal to 6. Now let's print 5 is greater than 6. This should give us false. It gives us false because 5 is less than 6. Now if we want to check if 5 is less than 6, we just type 5 less than 6 and run it. We get true as 5 is less than 6. If you want to check greater than or equal to, we can just type 5 greater than or equal to 6, and then when we run it we get false because it is not greater or equal to 6. Similarly, for less than or equal to, we just type less than sign with equal to and then run it and we get true because 5 is less than 6. Right? The next thing we are going to see is a part of assignment operators. Let's say we have a variable count equal to 1. And when we want to increment this value by 1, we would type count is equal to count plus 1. But Python provides a shortcut method to do this. We can just type count plus equal to 1. So plus equal to is an assignment operator for addition. And then when we want to see the output, we would just do print count. And when we run it, we get 2. Similarly, for decrementing, it is minus equal to. And when we print it, it will give us 0 as the value of count was 1. Then we decremented it by 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. So if we have count is equal to 3 and we do count minus equal 1, let's run it, we get 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. Similarly, for multiplication, it is into equal to, let's say 4, and this should give us 12 because 3 into 4 is 12. So let's move on to our next topic, built-in methods. The first one we are going to see is round method. This method rounds off the number to the nearest integer. So if we have num1 is equal to 51.56, num2 is equal to 15, num3 is equal to 8.8. Let's take these examples to round off these numbers. Let's say print round of number 1. Let's go ahead and print it. It will give us 52. The nearest integer from 51.56 is 52. Right? When we do num2, we get 15, which is printed as it is. Lastly, the number is number 3, and when we go ahead and print it, we get 9. Now there is a variation of using this round method. We can pass the number of digits up to which we want our number to be rounded off. So now if I say rounded value variable is equal to round of number 1, comma 1. And then when we print rounded value variable, let's remove num1 and num2. And when we print it, we get 51.6. This rounded off till one digit after decimal point. The next method is absolute method, which is ABS. Now, absolute method returns the absolute value of a number. It is the value without considering the sign. So if we say print ABS in the bracket minus 89 and run it, we get 89. If we pass a positive number, let's say 90, and then we say run, it gets printed as it is. The next method is minimum method. This method finds out the minimum number from a list. So we just type minimum in the bracket 56, 85, 79, 12, 3. The smallest number here is 3, so the output of our code should be 3, right? Similarly, there is max method. And when we run it, we get 85, which is the maximum value out of this list. Now, we can even store this maximum value in a variable. Say max value is equal to is this. And then when we print the max value, we get the same output, 85, which is the largest number in the list. Now let's move on to the next topic, which is typecasting. Typecasting is the process of converting the value from one data type to another data type. Let's take an example of adding two numbers, but an integer and a float value together. So let's say num1 is equal to 5 and num2 is equal to 5.2. Now let's go ahead and print the addition of num1 plus num2. Let's print it. We get 10.2. The addition of integer and a float will always give us float result, as Python interpreter always converts smaller data type into larger one to avoid loss of data. So internally, this 5 was converted into float, as float is the larger data type as compared to integer. So this was converted to 5.0, and then added to 5.2 and then the answer was 10.2. Right? This is called as implicit typecasting, which is done automatically by Python interpreter without our intervention. There is another way of typecasting called as explicit typecasting, wherein we specify the data type in which we want to cast our data. So to do this, there are predefined built-in methods provided to us by Python. So the first one is integer, the next is float, complex, bool, and string. If we need to convert some value to integer, we use integer method, which is int and round brackets. To understand this, let's have a variable num with a value 78 in double quotes. Now let's print the value, print num, and we get 78. Now let's go ahead and type print in the bracket type of this variable num, and let's run it. We get string. Now how do we know that this num variable is a string? As number 78 is represented in double quotes. Now let's add 10 to this value. Let's say num is equal to num plus 10. Right? What do you think this should give us? Let's run it and find out. Yes, this gives us type error. It says can only concatenate string and not integer to string. Python does not allow addition of string and integer. So to perform operations like a number, we would want to convert 78 into integer. So to do that, we use int method. There might be instances where we get our data from a file or user input. That data is always considered as string, that is textual value. Now, even if it contains number like a variable num here, it is considered as a string. So at such instances, it is required for us to typecast numeric data from string to integers. To do this, we would just type num is equal to integer in the bracket num. So we have explicitly told Python interpreter to convert this variable into integer type. So now when we add 10 to this value and print it, we get 88, which is the right output. It's even possible to convert a float value in an integer. So let's say our number is 78.95. If we want to convert it into integer, we just type integer in the bracket num. Right? And then when we see the output, we get 78. The decimal part of the variable is lost. Now what if there was a variable with alphabets or special characters in it? And then we typecast into an integer. Let's say my variable is Python 101. Now if we go ahead and print it, we would get value error. Right? It would say invalid literal for integer with base 10, Python 101. Now, as Python 101 is not a decimal value, such data is invalid for type conversion. Similarly, we use other methods by typing out Similarly, we use other methods that we just mentioned at the start of this topic. Similarly, we use other methods that we had mentioned at the start of this topic by just typing out the data type which is required and in the bracket expressions. So if we want to convert an integer value to string, we would just type str in the bracket our value. Right? If we want to convert some value to boolean, we would just type bool in the bracket our value, right? Now let's go ahead and print it. Right? So this 85 so if we want to so similarly we use other methods by just typing out data type which is required and in the bracket the value or expression that needs to be typecasted. Right? So if we want to convert an integer value to string, we would just type out string in the bracket our integer value. Similarly, if we want to convert a value into boolean, we just type bool in the bracket the value. Right? Now let's go ahead and print these values to check the output. We get a string value and boolean of 1 is true. Right? We need to make a note that while casting the data type explicitly, loss of data may occur as we are forcing the change of data type. This brings us to the next topic, which is math module in Python. Math module contains mathematical functions which we can use for mathematical calculations. To use this module, we need to import math module using an import statement. So just type import math. Now we need to remember that this import statement is always written at the beginning of a program. So now let's discuss a few commonly used functions that this module provides. The first one is math.sqrt. This function returns the square root of a number. To use a function from a module, first we type the name of the module, that is math dot the function name. And then in the brackets, the value that we need to pass. So if we want to find out the square root of 9, I would just type 9 in the bracket of our square root function. So to check this value, let's say result is equal to this and print result. And when we run it, we get 3, which is the square root of 9. Now, the next method that we are going to see is factorial. A factorial of a number is a function that multiplies a number by every number lesser than that. So, to find out the factorial of 5, it is represented using exclamation. So 5 factorial is equal to 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Right? So to find a factorial in Python, all we need to do is just type math.factorial and type the value 5. The factorial of 5 is 120. Suppose we need to find what is 5 raised to the power 3. To do this, we just type math.power 5 to the power 3. Right? And then when we run it, we get 125. The next one is mathematical constant pi. To use it, we just type math.pi. So when we run it, we get the value of mathematical constant pi, which is 3.8. 14159 and so on. The next is mathematical constant E. The value of mathematical constant E is 2.71828 and so on. So if we want to use it in Python, we can just type maths.e. So when we run it, we get the value of constant E. So all the trigonometrical functions are also available in math module like sine, cos and tan. Python documentation of math module can be found at the link mentioned in the description box below. So please go check it out. So this brings us to the last part of this tutorial where we are going to answer how integers and floats are immutable. Integers and floats are immutable in Python. This means that once an object is created and a value is assigned to this object, it's not possible to modify its value. An immutable object is an object whose value cannot change. So let's take an example and define an integer variable, say num is equal to 25. So when we define this variable num, a memory location is allocated for this value 25. And the variable name num starts pointing to that memory location. To find out the memory location of a variable, we use id method. So let's print it by typing print in the bracket id of number. So let's go ahead and run it. This gives us a number value which is the memory address of this variable num. If by any chance the value of this variable changes in a program, so let's say now if our number becomes 98, then the number variable now points to the value 98. So let's go ahead and print out the memory address of this same num variable and let's run it. Here we see that a new address is generated for the same number variable num. The value 98 is not modified at the same memory location, but a new memory location is allocated to 98 and num variable now points to this new location. This makes integers immutable in Python. Here we need to remember that the value 25 that we assigned earlier still exists in the memory, but the binding of variable num is lost when we change the value to 98. Similarly, floats are also immutable. So that's all for this video, guys. In the next video, we would be seeing how to take users' input in Python, and it's going to be really fun. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos related to coding. If you have any queries, please feel free to comment below. Also, don't forget to press the bell icon to come code with me and conquer the world.